Hi, my name is Hristina Yosifova. I'm a first-year film student in NATFA in Sofia, Bulgaria, and today I am very honored to present a very special guest to our podcast. Her name is Alla Krasulia. She is head of the International Relations Office in the Sumy University in Ukraine. She has a PhD in pedagogy. She's also an associate professor in the Department of Germanic Philology. I am so happy to have you here with us, Alla. Hi.
Hi, Christina. Nice to meet you, and thank you so much for the invitation. It's truly a pleasure to be here. And I must say, conversations like this feel a bit like bridges. We build them with words, but they carry something much heavier: reality, experience, and sometimes difficult truths.
Yes, so why not start with a very basic question to our conversation. How is your day going? Today is the 31st of March when we're recording this. It's around 4 p.m. How is this day in Sumy?
Well, then perhaps I should start saying that Sumy is a city just 30 kilometers from the northeastern Russian border, which means that for us, geopolitics is not a concept, it's a sound. Sometimes literally, the everyday background is the buzzing of drones overhead, and at night when the city should be silent, you can hear artillery in the distance, carried through that almost fragile stillness. And the front line is about 20 kilometers from my home. So silence is never quite empty anymore. It listens back. And yet we're here teaching, researching, applying for Erasmus Plus, DAD, and Horizon projects, participating in European alliances, twinning initiatives, and quite importantly, joining FilmEU conversations like this. And if just to imagine regular routine, well, imagine a mix of academia and unpredictability. Mornings, coffee, emails, project coordination, meetings with international partners, because cooperation does not pause. Afternoons, teaching, administrative work, sometimes writing proposals. We have submitted almost 150 applications since January 2026, by the way.
Oh, that's so impressive.
We cope productively. And somewhere in between, checking mobile apps for alerts, making sure my family is safe, sometimes relocating to a safer place if needed, and then continuing. You know, we have learned to live in parentheses. Life goes on with constant interruptions.
Okay, so can we say that the only thing that has changed really in your daily life is just these constant interruptions, as you call them? I mean, I believe many other things have changed, but it sounds like your life and university life is going as it usually is going.
Well, we've got like newer normalcy, you know, and actually, if we talk about the university, before the full-scale invasion, we spoke about internationalization, digitalization, student-centered learning. Now we live them, not as strategies, but as survival mechanisms. And when our students are joining classes from bomb shelters, flexibility is no longer a pedagogical trend. It is empathy in action. When electricity disappears, digitalization is not innovation. It is resilience. So I would say that a lot of things have changed. And if we're talking about university values, interestingly, and perhaps paradoxically, they haven't changed, they have crystallized. And our values became louder, more honest, and less decorative. I would put it like that.
Okay, well, I feel like I need to rephrase myself just because obviously everything about your life has changed. I mean, this aggression towards Ukraine, it's in the first place, I want to say, as a part of Gen Z, to me, this seems so out of nowhere, unnecessary. And actually, for me, it's out of nowhere because while I was researching more about Ukraine's history for this interview with you today, I found out that the invasion didn't start 4 years ago, as I know, but actually 12 years ago. And to me, this was news because where I live in Bulgaria, there's a lot of misinformation. Our media is very pro-Russian, as well as a lot of our politicians. So this really was something new to me. And it's shocking because from what I read, it started from just protests. All the aggression from Russia began after protests, something that every person has the right to do in the 21st century.
Well, I travel quite a lot, and almost every time I do, I catch myself thinking that the same thing, actually. Europe often speaks about Ukraine in numbers, aid
Yes.
packages, statistics, timelines, but Ukraine is not lived in numbers. It is lived in stories, and universities like ours carry thousands of them every single day. And you mentioned misinformation, and I think
Yeah.
this is a crucial point. For many in the West, the war started in 2022. For us, it began in 2014 with the students' protest, exactly. So when we say, like today, it's March the 31st, 2026. So when we say we are tired, it's not a short sentence. It is a decade-long paragraph. It is the story of an entire nation that has been resisting occupation, violence, and repression for years, for centuries, I would put it like that, and especially since the full-scale invasion of 2022. And yet we continue.
It's very impressive, and I want to ask, has this in any way changed the community in Ukraine? Are you feeling like people are together in this? Like, if an alarm goes off, everyone looks out for the others, or is it the other way around? People look out for themselves only? And I have another question to this as well regarding your profession. You're a professor at the Sumy University, so how has your role as a professor changed? I mean, would you say you're now also someone who looks after your students? How has this invasion changed people in the community of Ukraine?
Thank you for being interested in that. And I will help you. I hope I will help you understand the reality of those still in Ukraine. So
Yeah.
this is the part that is hardest to explain, actually, because it sounds almost unreal. Imagine planning your day not only around meetings in your calendar, but around air raid alerts. Imagine teaching a class, pausing because of sirens, and then continuing as if this is normal, because it has become normal. During this winter, we had electricity outages, unstable internet, constant stress over these 4 years, and these are not exceptions. They are part of the timetable now. And yet here comes the surprising part. The university is alive and is ranked among the top universities in Ukraine. Students are in many ways more focused. Education has gained weight. It is no longer something abstract. It's a tool, a way forward. There is less room for indifference. Have our students changed? Yes, they have. They are more mature, faster than they should be. And very often I get a question like, why did you decide to stay? Because I had so many opportunities to leave. And this is a question I really get often. And I think the honest answer is because leaving would have been easier and therefore not entirely mine. I stayed because my family are here, my work is here, my students are here, my university is here. And also because this might sound a bit philosophical, responsibility is a very grounding force. It keeps you in place when everything else is uncertain. And perhaps even more simply, you stay where you feel you can be useful, where what you do actually matters. I know how to do my work well, to build partnerships, to support colleagues and students, to keep things moving even when the context is anything but stable. And here in Sumy, that effort is not abstract. It is needed, it is immediate. So staying for me was not only about courage, it was also about clarity, about understanding that sometimes the most meaningful place you can be is exactly where you already are.
Can you recall any moments in which you thought, "Oh, okay, I'm actually going to leave now. This is enough. I'm over this. I'm leaving."
Not really. I've got a lot of personal stories. If you're interested, I can share one.
Of course, please do.
Even after that story, I had no intention to leave my city and my university. So the story I would like to share today, it's one of the stories I carry with me, a story that is both very difficult and very defining for us as a university. It was Palm Sunday, April the 13th, 2025, a quiet day, a holy day, the kind of day that is supposed to slow things down. People were outside, walking with their children, coming back from church, just living their ordinary life. And then our campus in the city center was hit by two air-guided Russian missiles. The building where our international relations office was located, together with the Congress Center, spaces where we usually host international guests, hold conferences, talk about the future, were ruined. In a matter of moments, that future felt very, very fragile. 35 people were killed, among them 2 medical students. More than 100 were injured. And the only reason my team and I are here today is because it was a weekend. We were not at work. It's a very strange realization that your life was quite literally saved by a date in the calendar. That under slightly different circumstances, you might have been there and turned into ashes like dust in the wind. And then comes the next morning. No big speeches, no dramatic coordination, just people showing up, colleagues, students, staff. Together with the rescue teams, we joined in clearing the rubble, picking up broken glass, pieces of walls, fragments of spaces that just the day before were full of conversations and plans. And at the same time, trying quietly to understand how to move forward. There was dust in the air, but there was also something else. A very calm, very firm decision. We continue. We relocated. I'm now sitting in a building that is next to the one that's ruined. We reorganized. We pulled ourselves together, quite literally.
Keeping this story in mind, did that not discourage some of the students to just drop out? I mean, this is so serious. They could have been there as well. This is such a scary reality that you're living in. You also said about the crystallization of the university's values. Could you actually share those with us? Maybe in a couple sentences. What are the values of the Sumy University which have kept the community of the university so strong?
Well, I would put it like that. We have always been a very human-centered university. Our academic community is at the core of all the processes. So as I have already mentioned, when we speak about internationalization or digitalization or human-centered approaches, it's all about the people that work here at the university, that study here, everybody who contributes each and every day is an important part of our community. The war will be over one day. We are absolutely sure it will. Hopefully sooner than later. And we believe that the human potential that we have been investing for so many years through research, through education, through our community-based activities will be the core that will help restore the university, because university is not about the walls. We will rebuild. We will raise like a phoenix out of the ashes when the war is over, because we know that we're not alone. We have so many cases when we really proved that we are a real academic community, that we are ready to support each other. And when the war is over, I'm sure that we will be able to flourish to the full capacity. I'm absolutely positive about this.
Absolutely positive. I'm sure that one day this war will be over. You will continue living your life peacefully after all. I really hope this happens sooner than later. This is a chilling story that you shared. I was thinking of this exhibition that we had in Bulgaria just last year. I think the beginning of May. It was in front of our National Theater, Ivan Vazov. It was called Ukraine, Love plus War. And it just showed the realities of the war. Like, people are living their lives, but this is happening, and this is turning them into something that they never expected to have to be. Soldiers and just medical staff and everything else that you can do in such a situation. So I just want to ask, how can we, people who are not currently in Ukraine, help to restore the peace for the people in Ukraine? And what can we do so that this conflict doesn't just stay in the media as numbers?
If I can just comment on one word that really resonates with me, I think that we should call things their names, and it's not a conflict, it's a
Oh,
war.
yes. It's a war.
Okay, just to be on the safe side, because for us,
Of course.
for Ukrainians, it matters a lot. When we have a fight at home, it might be a conflict, or there is an issue somewhere at the university, we can call it a conflict. It's a full-scale invasion of Russia in Ukraine that has been for 4 years so far, for more than 4 years. Regarding your comments that nobody planned to serve in the army, nobody planned to participate in the war, I should say that there should be this delicate balance between our resilience and vulnerability, because we are just human beings. Nobody wanted to be part of this horrible war. And Ukrainians are often described as resilient. And yes, we are, but resilience is not the absence of vulnerability. From my perspective, it grows around it. The stories that you have mentioned about love and passion and compassion and empathy, people have changed. Communities have become closer, more supportive. There is a stronger sense of we. There is also fatigue, grief, loss, things we don't always show in statistics. So to me, resilience is not a heroic pose. It's a daily choice. When you wake up in the morning, you check your mobile phone, you are alive, and it's the reason to go to work. Referring to your question, how you can help restore peace. I mean, you like a wider community. I don't think peace is restored only through politics. It is also restored through understanding, through conversations like this, through international collaborations, through projects where universities from different countries actually work together, not just sign agreements. Peace, in a way, is built in classrooms, in research teams, in shared ideas. And perhaps this is my small academic metaphor. Peace is like a long-term research project. It requires investment, patience, collaboration, and trust in results that are not immediate. So we have to be really patient and to put a lot of time and effort into the peace restoration.
Yes, well, I hope that everyone who listens to this episode feels a whole lot more educated, because I for sure do. Thank you so much for sharing your stories and your experience living in such conditions. I feel that as a part of Gen Z, we are so much more invested in our phones and just media than in anything else, to be, quite honest. I don't think that the conversation about Ukraine should be put in the dark. It shouldn't be going quiet, because there are so many things happening right now in the world, which I would describe as crazy. But this has been going on for so long, and I even read in some articles while I was doing my research that this war, it was described as the most serious war conflict after World War II. And it's happening in just one country. We should stay informed, and we should keep on looking for information and just talking about it as much as we can. Because as you said, this is one way of restoring peace. So if that's the biggest thing that we can do, let's do it.
Thank you. Thank you. It's important for me to hear this reflection from you, because this war is not so far away. It's right here in the 21st century, in the middle of Europe, after the hugest war, like the Second World War. Nobody expected that would happen, but we've got what we've got. And, I'm really thankful. Just wanted to take the moment and just to say thank you to you personally, and to the initiative of the FilmEU Alliance to have this podcast, to have this story, and to give me an opportunity to share my story, that the voice of my university and me personally can be heard. It means the world to me. It really means a lot to me. And this collaboration actually with the Alliance didn't start yesterday. It goes back to the Destin project, where our Department of Journalism and Philology worked closely with the Alliance European partners, including colleagues like David Quinn from the Institute of Art, Design and Technology in Dublin. This period was very important for us. It was about aligning journalism education with European standards, rethinking curricula, and perhaps most importantly, building trust, the kind of trust that doesn't disappear even when projects officially end. And then, as it often happens, there was a pause, teams changed, context shifted, and of course, the war reshaped many priorities, but the connections remained. And what we're doing now with FilmEU is in a way a continuation of that earlier dialogue, just at a different level, in a different reality, but we build on the same foundation. So we're not starting from scratch, we're building on relationships that have already been tested professionally and I would say humanly. And that makes this collaboration not only promising but deeply meaningful for me personally. And if I may end on a lighter note, because I do believe in peace and collaboration and partnership, that we often say that universities prepare students for the future. In Ukraine, universities also helping students hold on to the present. And that was important for me to hear your reflection as a student of one of the European universities, that it's important for you to hear such stories. And I really think that is a mission worth sharing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alla. Thank you for this conversation. And I hope to hear again about what you do and to just see more collaborations like this happen.
Hi, you've been listening to the FilmEU podcast, a space for and by European film students. Thanks for tuning in. We hope today's episode sparked ideas, raised questions, or simply made you feel part of a wider creative community. If you want more, follow the FilmEU podcast on your favorite platform and join us next time as we continue exploring the journey of young filmmakers across Europe.